Hey everyone, Kyle Walker here. If you love cars, fixing things, or just want to understand your vehicle better, you're in the right place. I share hands-on tips, smart driving advice, and straight-up car talk without the fluff. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around till the end. You don't want to miss what's coming up. Let's get into it.
Many motorists have faced the problem of a dead battery. In such a situation, it is extremely difficult to start the car and go about your business. The problem is easily solved with a special charger. It is enough to connect the battery to it. Wait for some time, and the battery is back in service. But not always you have a charger at hand. It is left at home, lies in the garage, and it is impossible to get to it now. That's why we have to look for alternative solutions. And they are there. There are several decent options, how you can charge the battery without a charger. Which of them to choose depends on the circumstances and available devices that can help the motorist to get out of the situation. To know about all the methods will not be superfluous. This will allow you to solve the problem if suddenly the battery is dead and there is no special charger for the battery at hand. What you need to charge the battery. If you are left without a charge, but you need to charge your battery, you have to think how to do it. To begin with, we connect the simplest logic and a little knowledge about the device of car batteries. On passenger cars, mostly used batteries, the nominal voltage of which is 12 volts. Their average capacity varies from 50 to 70 Ah. Hence we conclude that the output voltage at the power supply unit should exceed 14 volts, and the output should be at least 1 ampere. But in fact, 1 ampere for charging a standard car battery is not enough. Therefore, it will be ideal if a 3 to 4 amp power supply is involved. Another important component for charging a battery without a charger is the ballast. Resistors or bulbs can be used here. They are connected to the circuit when the process of replenishing the battery charge takes place. Many ignore the need to use a ballast, considering it an unnecessary waste of time and effort. But in fact, the presence of a ballast load allows you to prevent the possible failure of the power supply or the battery itself. Therefore, you should not give up the ballast. The last, but not less important, element is a monitoring device. A standard multimeter or a separate ammeter and voltmeter will do. A multifunction multimeter is much more convenient to use. Plus, its additional capabilities will be useful in the process of maintenance and repair of the car. A useful thing in the arsenal of any car owner. In addition, you may need copper wires, insulating tape, tools, and so on. It all depends on the method of recharging the battery, which you have chosen to use. Charging methods. Before charging your car battery without a charger, remember all safety precautions. People with no experience in working with car electrics should not use the following methods at all. The only exception will be the use of a portable device that does not require special skills and abilities. Objectively, the best solution is to buy a high-quality charger with its subsequent use according to the instructions. Such a device should always be at hand, especially when long trips are planned or the car is parked for a long time. Usually, it is in such situations that the battery is discharged and motorists begin to frantically search for ways to replenish the battery charge. Don't forget that only factory chargers are equipped with an automatic shut-off function when the battery is fully charged. When planning to use a homemade charger, remember that there is no auto-off switch. The parameters will have to be monitored independently, so you cannot leave the battery without attention for a long time. As for the ways of charging the battery in the absence of a full-fledged charger, drivers can use portable charger, laptop charger, adapter, 220-volt household network. Read also car battery and amperage. Measuring and charging correctly each method requires separate consideration and more detail. Portable charger. The first method, how you can charge a dead battery, involves the use of a portable charger. These are mainly start charging devices that are widely available on sale. The option is suitable for prudent drivers who know that the battery can potentially sit, so it will have to charge it sometimes in the field. It is not a problem to buy such equipment. Devices are compact, take up a minimum of space in the car, but are able to bring great benefit. Start chargers are designed to start the engine of the car, but they are also able to provide charging for the battery. Most often such devices become relevant if you need to solve the problem in hiking and extreme conditions. The basis for making a portable charger is a lithium battery. The most advanced and modern batteries are made of gel batteries, which have a relatively small capacity. Devices are completed with crocodiles and an adapter for connection to the cigarette lighter of the vehicle. Experienced drivers and specialists advise to choose this option of equipment. This will allow you to recharge the battery using a standard and available in all cars cigarette lighter. But the portable devices themselves need charging. To do this, use the household power grid, to which the device is connected with the help of an adapter. Or you can use the onboard network of the car itself. Connect when the engine is running. Choosing a starter charging device, you should take into account their varieties. They are divided into 3 categories: professional, household, combined. Standard household models used by ordinary drivers consist of a diode bridge, transformer, and ammeter. More sophisticated devices have additional protection elements. They allow to regulate the current and voltage indicators. The most expensive professional models are characterized by increased power indicators. They are used mainly in service stations and car services. Power in the region of 40 to 50 watts allows you to simultaneously charge the batteries of several cars. There is absolutely nothing complicated in the use of portable chargers. Therefore, motorists without experience with such devices can easily cope with the task. To do this, you need to install the charging terminals on the battery terminals of the car, observing the polarity, and wait for some time. The minus of portable chargers is the fact that they are not able to fully charge the car battery. It is unlikely to get at least 50% of a full charge. But the capabilities of such devices are enough to start the engine. If the engine works, the rest of the charge will be provided by the generator itself. Laptop charger. If you are left without a special charger for the car, there is another way how you can charge the battery. But for this you will need a device that charges the battery on a portable computer, i.e. a laptop. For laptops, use standard chargers, regardless of the manufacturer and model. Therefore, their capabilities can be used for the benefit of your car. In addition to the charger itself, to replenish the battery charge, you will need to take copper wires and an ordinary light bulb. The bulb can be replaced by a resistor. Here you already start from what you have at hand. To assemble a charger from such a set, you need to perform a few consecutive actions. First, a pair of wires is taken out of the charger for the computer. We need a plus wire and a minus wire. The plus is located inside, and the minus is located outside. Now the minus of the charger is connected to the minus terminal of the battery. A lamp or a trim resistor is connected to the gap. The resistor is better, as it allows you to change the resistance parameters. The second lead from the resistor should be connected to the plus terminal of the battery. The faster you need to charge your car battery, the lower the resistance should be. This component is the main advantage of the resistor because the resistance on it can be adjusted. Such a scheme allows you to perform a full charge of the battery, unlike the variant with the use of a portable device. The only difference in terms of convenience is the need to constantly monitor the charging process. In order not to miss the moment, you need to connect measuring devices on the leads. This will allow you to monitor the voltage. If the meter shows a value above 14 volts and remains unchanged, and in parallel with this boils the electrolyte, then the procedure is complete. You can disconnect the power supply and start the car. The parameters will still be approximate. But in certain situations, when no other way to replenish the battery charge is possible, the option of using a laptop charger becomes a real salvation. The method is rightly considered controversial. To use it, you will need not only a laptop charger, but also a resistor, a light bulb, wires, and other components. As a field charging method, it is definitely not suitable. The device itself will require mains power to operate from the laptop. Read also, electrolyte density in the battery, standards, causes of deviation, and options for stabilizing indicators. Household network. At 220 volts, if you have access to a household network that gives out standard 220 volts, there is a good option how to charge a battery without a charger. Here we charge a car battery using an ordinary socket. The scheme is not the most complicated and in many respects resembles the previous option, where a computer charger was used. The difference is that you do not need to use an intermediate element in the form of an adapter. Charging will go directly from the household outlet, but resistance will still be required. For such purposes, an ordinary incandescent light bulb at 220 volts with a power of 100 to 150 watts is perfect. Such bulbs are inexpensive, and it is not difficult to buy them. Plus, it will be necessary to rectify the alternating current and convert it to direct current. Here we will need a diode bridge. The scheme provides for connecting the minus through the diode bridge from the battery to the socket and the plus through the bridge, then through the bulb and to the socket. Strictly adhere to the scheme to respect the polarity and sequence of connections. Otherwise, you risk ruining not only the battery, but also damaging the electrical system in the house. The last two methods, which use a household outlet and a laptop charger, are recommended to be used only by people with relevant experience. If you do not understand anything about electricity, have never understood even the basics of electrical engineering, it is categorically impossible to take up the presented schemes. By violating the recommendations and trying to assemble the circuit without any knowledge, you risk burning the power supply, knocking out the plugs or automatic circuit breaker in the house, to bring the battery into a state of complete disrepair. But it is also very dangerous for your life. The best solution is to buy a full-fledged battery charger designed for recharging batteries. It is installed at home or in the garage, plugged into a household outlet, connected with 2 terminals, and that's it. There is nothing complicated here. In addition, it is not superfluous to acquire a portable device. Such a device will come in handy in hiking and extreme conditions, when there is no real opportunity to use a conventional charger. Always try to keep the battery in good condition and keep it charged to the correct level. If the battery gradually fails and loses its functionality, you should consider replacing it. Batteries last long enough, and premature wear of the battery resource indicates problems in the power grid or the purchase of initially low-quality device. Contact a battery specialist for advice and see if your battery can last several years or if it's time to replace it. In conclusion, there are several innovative ways to charge your battery without relying on a traditional battery charger. From utilizing solar panels and hand-crank generators to employing power banks, and even creative methods like using a car battery. These alternatives can be both practical and resourceful. By exploring these options, you can ensure that your devices stay powered up, even in unexpected situations. Remember to always prioritize safety and compatibility when trying these methods. Thank you for watching, and we hope you found these tips helpful.